Hello and welcome back to another XeroLinux video. Today is going to be a very special announcement. But before we start, let me remind you that I'm currently running a fundraiser to reach the 500, a monthly fundraiser to raise the 500 euros that would help me pay for hosting, VPSs, and everything in between every month. And if you like the video, subscribe if you're not subscribed already, and hit the bell, of course, to get notified. With that said, let's get into it. What is the subject of today's video? I've been working very, very hard on a project behind the scenes that will finally allow you to get XeroLinux free of charge. Yes, you don't need to use a demo. You don't need to donate to download the ISO, but it comes with extra effort. What do I mean by extra effort? Well, I heard you guys. Not everyone can donate to get the ISO. So I came up with an idea to create an install script that will allow you to install XeroLinux starting from the Arch ISO. All you have to do is boot the Arch ISO, run one command, go through the prompts, and let it do its thing. Simple as that. Not very complicated. But if you're afraid of terminal and you prefer to grab the ISO, then you'll have to donate. But I like to offer options. I don't like to leave you stranded. And a lot of people voiced their concerns that I'm not giving you an option to get XeroLinux for free. So I created something that will allow you to do that. It's an amazing script. I've been working tirelessly on it for the past week, almost sleepless nights, just to get it out the gate. Now, with that lengthy introduction out of the way, let's get into it. What is the XeroLinux installers? I have created a wiki entry so you can see, which I will link in the description below, which will explain everything for you. But the TLDR is, it will offer you a way to install Arch with all the XeroLinux tweaks and settings, configs, rising, everything. You will end up with an identical copy of the ISO without having to donate a single cent. All right, so how did I come up with the idea? I came up with the idea starting from Arch install. Yes, Arch install. This was the inspiration for the script, and kudos to the developers. I did use some of their logic to be able to create this, but I didn't copy paste. Arch install was written in Python. XeroLinux install script is written in Bash. So two different languages. You cannot say I copy paste. I thought to myself, how could I simplify the whole process? Because Arch install has way too many options that are not necessary for this purpose. So I narrowed it down to install a language, locales, disk configuration, which we'll go into once we get to the script, swap, host name, graphics driver, authentication, and time zone. That's it. 8 simple steps. And then the script will do everything for you. With that out of the way, let's get into it. I'm doing this on a VPS, so I can show you how fast it will go because my connection is extremely slow. I'm not gonna stay here and wait for everything to install. It will take hours. My connection is not the best. So you go to the wiki, which I'll link again in the description below. You get the command you need to run. It's one single command, and you will see what it is as soon as I paste it. You just run this single command. You hit enter, it will initiate the script, and there you go. It's beautifully designed, isn't it? I'm all about the looks. So here you go. I need to make it a little bit smaller. Install a language, English, everything is English. Okay, disk configuration. This is the interesting. You select the drive you want to install XeroLinux on, and keep in mind, there is no partitioning available in the script yet. Maybe in the future as I learn more. But right now, as it stands, it will use an entire drive. So be careful. Be very careful. And it does support dual boot for those of you who will potentially ask, as long as you install it on a separate drive. Do not install it on the same drive as Windows. If you do, I'm not responsible. You break your system, it's your fault. Heed my warning. You hit enter, and now you have a choice between BTRFS, ext4, XFS. Yes, I brought BTRFS back. The reason it's not included on Calamares is because for the lack of documentation there, it's been broken forever. Not at the fault of the developers of Calamares, but there's no clear documentation for me on how to fix it. So I had to disable it, unfortunately. And this one includes compression as well. So when you hit enter, it's going to ask you if you want to enable full disk encryption. Let me make it a little bit smaller. Do you want to enable full disk encryption? I'm going to show you that it works. I'm going to hit yes, type a phrase, a simple one I can remember, just for the sake of this video. So now that we selected the drive, swap ZRAM, but I'll show you what choices you have, ZRAM, file, or none. I'm going to leave it at ZRAM. And when you select ZRAM, it asks you what do you want, ZSTD, LZ4, LZO. The default is ZSTD, it's the best one. Host name, leave it at XeroLinux. Graphics driver. This is where it gets more interesting. So not only do you have access to VM, since we are in a VM, we're going to select that one, but you can select Intel, AMD, NVIDIA Turing, meaning RTX cards, NVIDIA Legacy, and this was made possible because of the chaotic AUR. Thank you. So it will be using the proprietary 580XX drivers from there. Intel and AMD hybrid, Intel NVIDIA Turing hybrid, Intel NVIDIA Legacy hybrid, AMD NVIDIA Turing, AMD NVIDIA Legacy. So you got the choice. The choice is yours. Make sure you select the right one, otherwise it won't work. So since we're in a VM, we're going to install the VM drivers, authentication. We're going to create a user. So here it will automatically add you to the wheel group, so you can use sudo. I selected a username, type the password, and then it's going to ask you if you want to use the same password for root. Say yes. If not, you can select not to. Time zone, I just type Asia, select Asia, BE, so it gives me Beirut. It selected Beirut, and then I'm gonna hit start the installation. And while it's installing, I'm gonna explain one thing, that this script will come as use at your own risk. If you use it the wrong way or end up breaking your system, I won't be responsible. I'm just here to help you get XeroLinux for free without having to spend a dime. And if you notice any bugs in the script, feel free to go to the script GitHub, which will be included in the on the wiki, and create an issue over there. I won't be able to fix anything unless you create an issue on GitHub. I'm not going to provide support or anything on Discord or anywhere else. Just open an issue or a PR, and I will get right to it on GitHub. This is a GitHub only project. So if you want to report bugs, please do so on GitHub. This is the only time I'm gonna say it. Well, not only time, but if you ask me, this is what you're gonna get. You need to know how to use GitHub. If you know how to use the script, you know how to use GitHub. At first, the first step will take care of installing the base system. So basically Arch Linux, Packstrap. This is still Packstrap. But I added a few more packages to Packstrap, so it's more robust, like more firmware packages and more drivers and stuff. So the KDE script doesn't have to do that afterwards. Once the Packstrap section is done, you're going to see something amazing, something that is a bit more complicated than it needs to be on Arch install, but more limited at the same time, because you'll be doing everything else once the desktop is installed via the XeroLinux toolkit. And yes, the XeroLinux toolkit is included on this one as well. It's not like the demo where the toolkit is not included. Yeah, about the demo. You can download the demo and test what XeroLinux is all about for free, but it's meant for a VM. Okay, when it reaches the end of Packstrap, it will tell you base installation complete. The system will now chroot into your new installation to run the XeroLinux KDE setup. All you have to do is hit enter. First prompt, KDE, it will explain everything for you. And then you hit yes, I'm willing to proceed. You don't need to hit enter, just type the Y button, it will automatically move on. First prompt, let me make it a little bit bigger. It's gonna ask you which AUR helper you want. From the get-go, You don't have that in Arch install, do you? I select Peru, of course, because I'm a Rust user. It will explain everything again, hit enter, and now we start with the package selection, extra package selection. Which browser do you want? And you feel free to suggest any more options. I just listed the ones that I include on the XeroLinux ISO, but feel free to suggest any other ones. So I use Vivaldi. I'm going to select 5. I'm not going to use a VPN. Hit enter. For social media, yes. So desktop, 5. Android development tools like ADB, SCR, CPY, and those things. If you are an Android user and you flash ROMs and stuff, select yes. I'm going to hit enter for no. Office suite. This is LibreOffice. You select the language you need. I select 1, which is English US. For development tools, Hugo, Meld, VS Codium, let's say VS Codium 3. If you want a password manager, I select 2. For creative and imaging apps, GIMP, Godot, Krita, Inkscape, Blender. I will add Inkscape to Calamares in the upcoming release. I'm going to say GIMP. I'm going to say MPV. And if you want to add more than one package, it's number, space, another number, space, another number to include more. So I'm going to say 3. Do you want to install KVM? Of course not. We are already in KVM. So I'm going to hit enter for now. And installation complete. I'll be right back once I boot into the desktop environment. All right. And voila. This is what you're going to end up with. You're going to end up with the XeroLinux desk. There you go. Was that hard? Please do let me know in the comments below. Was that hard? If you really, really, really wanted XeroLinux for free, you wouldn't mind going through those answering 8 simple questions and letting the script do everything for you, right? I don't know. That's just me. So, ta-da! That's it. There's nothing else to show. All your applications will be installed. You find everything in the start menu and everything. You run an update and everything should be peachy. That's all you have to do. Well, after the install, you won't have any updates because it was pulling everything from the internet. So it was grabbing the latest packages anyway. So welcome to XeroLinux. That's it. I'm done. This is the video. It's an introductory video to the new project. It's in progress. It will forever be in progress. I might turn it into a Python script in the future. To keep up with development, join my Discord. Not my Discord, the XeroLinux community Discord. It's not my Discord anymore. It's being run by the community for the community. But that's where I post all the updates. There's a XeroLinux or project updates channel where you can follow for everything. That's the only channel I post updates on. With that being said, all the socials are in the description. The links are in the description. And again, if you can help me reach the 500 monthly euros to be able to pay for everything that's making all this possible, please feel free to do so. Enjoy the script. And again, to report any issues, bugs, or whatever, or if you have any insight on how I can make it better, please go on GitHub. Not on Discord, not on Fostodon, nowhere except GitHub. I'm not going to answer any questions regarding bugs or fix any bugs unless they are on GitHub, the project GitHub, on the source code GitHub. All right. God bless y'all, and I'll see you in the next one.